DA councillors in the city of Joburg have now lodged charges of assault against councillors from the ANC. These are people who are going to see each other again tomorrow. This is after the council meeting last week and saw physical altercations between councillors from the DA and the ANC and the EFF. The ANC and the EFF councillors wanted the voting for chairs of committees to be by secret ballot. The DA-led administration wanted the voting to be by a show of hands. Meanwhile, the ANC's caucus leader in Joburg, Mpho Moerane, has written to the Gauteng Cooperative Governance MEC Lebogang Maile, asking him to take action against the DA speaker in the council, Vasco da Gama. Well, the mayor of Joburg, from the DA, of course, Dr. Mpho Phalatse, she's here. Madam Mayor, good afternoon to you and thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Afternoon to you and to your viewers as well. Thanks for having me.
Your members have now laid charges against these ANC councillors. Why have you done that?
Well, crimes were committed in council. You know, when you go to work, it's supposed to be one of the safest places. In fact, I think our security guards up until last Thursday didn't realize just how difficult their job is going to be. When they're there to keep the criminals out, you'd never expect that the criminals are actually within. Crimes were committed in the scuffles. There was elbowing of councillors in the chest. There was various of the councillors with physical bruising. There's been lots of, there's an asthmatic councillor that couldn't breathe because, you know, she got caught up in another one of those scuffles. Quite a few incidents that happened, unfortunately, from our colleagues, people that we should be working with.
Do you really believe there'll be convictions here? I mean, you're probably going to need video evidence.
We do have video evidence. Fortunately, because it was a big council day, there was a bit of media around and we managed to get hold of very good footage. So yes, the evidence is there.
The caucus leader for the ANC in Joburg is Mpho Moerane. He was the mayor briefly for a while. He's now written to the Gauteng Cooperative Governance MEC Lebogang Maile. I made the point earlier that he is also from the ANC. The ANC governs Gauteng. He wants to know what's happened. He's writing to the speaker, Vasco da Gama, who's from your party. Are you prepared to explain to him what happened?
Well, we can share the footage. I mean, it's all there. It's in the public domain. You know, our council meeting was online. Everybody saw what happened. It's really quite surprising that the MEC is asking what happened. But that's between him and the speaker. The speaker can write to him as a formality, but I'm sure he knows what happened.
You want the voting. I mean, what started this, as I understand it, is that there were supposed to be votes for the chair of committees, for the chairs of committees, rather. You wanted those votes to be by show of hands, you and your coalition partners. The other parties wanted them, so the ANC and the EFF wanted a secret ballot. Why do you want it by a show of hands?
It's not that we wanted it by a show of hands. That is what was agreed upon by the multi-party whippery. Remember, this council meeting was supposed to be held last year already, immediately after the appointment of MMCs by the executive mayor. You need to put in place oversight structures so they can hold the executive to account. We wanted to do that last year already, but people asked that we do it after recess, and we acceded to that request. However, there were multiple whippery meetings where this meeting was discussed, you know, in full detail, including how it was going to be held. And the agreement was that it would be held by a show of hands. That's how we've always done it. We've never done it through a secret ballot. On the 11th hour, the ANC and the EFF, realizing that they don't have the numbers, decide they want a secret ballot vote. They knew we could not do it. The IEC was not there. All the preparation that would have had to go into that were not in place. And so they knew it was not going to happen. It was really just to disrupt the meeting.
You're in power because of the EFF, and this is where it all gets very complicated, because it's these council meetings and for these committees that are actually crucial to governance. Now, what would normally happen in any legislature is that the chairs would sometimes come from the governing party. That's probably not going to happen here. Are you going to be able to govern even if the chairs are from other parties?
You can govern, yes, but we would like to have the chairs in the hands of capable people, because oversight is important, and you need people who understand what it is and will not use it for political gain, but really to drive the agenda of improving the city. And if oversight is in the right hands and works well with the executive, you can actually make it work for residents.
You, at the moment, as sort of a minority administration, you kind of just get over the line. It depends on what happens. I realize you didn't ask for the EFF to support you, and they did anyway. It wasn't really to support you. I suppose it was to irritate the ANC, and I think they succeeded in doing that. Do you believe that you're going to be able to still, after everything that's happened, you haven't even been able to have the first real meeting of council? How long do you think you're going to last?
We will stay the full 5 years. We're quite confident. I mean, we've spoken to the PA now. We again over the line. And yes, even if we have to negotiate with every council meeting, we will do that. We're committed to our voters, and we're committed to fixing the city.
What kind of agreement have you reached with the Patriotic Alliance?
Well, a lot more will be revealed in due course. All I can say for now is that they will be voting with us tomorrow, and we will vote in our chairpersons, including our chair of chairs.
You trust that they will stick to their word? I mean, they do have a reputation for moving back and forth.
No, they definitely will. I mean, I don't know about that reputation. All I know is that we were not able to meet their demands in the past, and that finally we found each other.
Oh, I look forward to finding out what's happening. The city of Joburg, you will know how many problems there are. I mean, it's not as bad as Ladysmith right now, which is, half of it is underwater. But the fact is that in the city of Joburg, there are problems with electricity. There are problems with water. Madam Mayor, there are potholes literally everywhere. And that's in the rich areas of Joburg. What are you going to do to fix those problems?
I agree with you. I mean, just yesterday I sent a location pin to the MMC for transport because we were dodging potholes somewhere in the south. It's true, we're inheriting a lot of problems. And the first thing is to be realistic and to manage expectations of our residents, communicate with them often on where we are and where we're going and the challenges that we face. One of the challenges is we've inherited business plans and a budget. The financial year ends at the end of June, which means in the adjustment period, we can only adjust up to 10% of what's already in place. So we need to work within that framework. We will be going into the adjustment budgets next month, and we've already identified low-hanging fruits, some quick wins, and we've had some strategic planning sessions. So there's quite a few plans in place within those constraints that we can already put in place. So yes, we're going to be fixing that. The fact that I've got 10 capable, competent, committed, and really people-oriented MNCs is a plus. They're on the ground daily, and they are resolving problems one at a time, and you're already seeing the tide begin to turn.
Okay, I mean, I'll go with you along in terms of that you can't adjust your budgets. I have come across that problem before. But it does mean that people have, big demands and high expectations of your administration. They will want to see that, and this is what's important for councils, that their actual lived experience improves. Now, that's actually much harder than making promises. In a way, doing what you're doing is harder than being president, because a president can often manage expectations. A mayor can't. You know if potholes are being fixed. Are you really able to make such big promises? You're going to improve the lives of people in Joburg?
Oh, definitely. Yes. With the plans that we have, even just with the low-hanging fruits and the quick wins that we can already achieve in the short term, people will start feeling the difference. I'm receiving photographs from residents who are very grateful. I mean, today I got photos of grass cutting at a Lenasia cemetery, for instance. People really see and they appreciate the little things. And that, for me, that's encouraging, that they see the little things and they appreciate the little things, and there's hope. And that's what we want. We want to inspire hope that Joburg is changing and that we're committed to making it happen and seeing it through.
Those little things, I mean, I agree with you. I think they do matter. The big thing is still going to be, I think to a large extent, electricity in Soweto. We know electricity and load shedding was a big factor in the local elections last year. But in Soweto, and this goes back to 1985, one of the people who tried to fix it then is now the President of the Republic. That's how far back this goes. But the fact is there's no easy solutions here. I mean, and the suggestion has been from the ANC when it was in power that the city of Joburg take over this problem from Eskom. Are you still keen to do that? Are there any other solutions on the table?
We're definitely still keen to do that. The problem is that when things go wrong, residents run to the city. They don't understand that there's different tiers of government, that we're not responsible for Eskom, and so on. And so we realized that we need to take responsibility so we can be held to account. And taking responsibility means taking back those areas that Eskom is responsible for. Eskom is aware of this. I've had engagements with them to that effect. They, of course, would like to continue servicing the city. There's some informal settlements they would like to electrify, like Zandspread, for instance. However, we need to look at what's working and what's not working we need to do away with. What we will be doing next month or in the next 2 months is holding an energy indaba. We will be inviting independent power producers and small-scale energy generators to talk about the energy crisis in Johannesburg. We believe that Joburg, being the economic hub, cannot afford, to have load shedding. We cannot afford to have constant power outages. Those really cost us a lot in terms of growing the economy and contributing meaningfully to the country's GDP. So we need to collectively come together and look at how we're going to turn it around. We've got some ideas, of course, but we would like to engage so that everybody feels a part of the solution, and then we'll send out a request for proposals, and then we'll get going with taking over these problem areas.
I mean, one thing, of course, was the Kelvin power station. It's an independent power producer literally on your doorstep, almost within your doorstep. The outgoing or the previous ANC administration tried to sign deals that got very complicated. Is that still in the works?
Well, Kelvin will be decommissioned. I think that's the part of the story that was never told. So any solution coming from Kelvin cannot be sustained. You know, we'll have Kelvin around for the next 2 years or so. So whatever we're getting from them is already at risk, and we can't afford to lose it. So we need to quickly look at solutions and increasing that capacity.
Eskom wants to put its power prices up by 20.5%. The mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis, has gone on the record and said that's unacceptable to him. Is it acceptable to you?
In fact, the entire Democratic Alliance, all mayors across the nation are fighting this. I believe that before you talk tariff hikes, you need to start collecting where you're not collecting as a starting point. You know, deal with the culture of non-payment among people who can afford as a starting point. Those are your low-hanging fruits before you increase tariffs for people who are paying. It's completely unfair. The language we should be speaking is the language of reducing the cost of providing electricity, and that's why we're talking independent power producers, stimulating competition, and seeing the prices go down.
Dr. Mpho Phalatse, I really appreciate the time. The Mayor of Johannesburg. I nearly call you the Mayor of Cape Town for some reason. The Mayor of Johannesburg. I do appreciate the time. I think I speak on behalf of all of us who live in Joburg. Good luck with the potholes. Thanks very much indeed. The Joburg Mayor in your Newzroom Afrika studio this afternoon.